Yeah, I'm mad I missed out on that night, man. Look like you guys were having a blast.
Dude, it was so much fun. I can't believe we stayed out until fucking... We didn't leave Rachel's house until 3:15.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was, I guess, her dad's house. Shout out to Big Daddy Ware.
Big Daddy Ware.
Big Daddy Ware.
That's hilarious. That's so funny.
Oh my god, this is the nectar of the gods.
Yeah, it's so pretty good. But yeah, man, we out here with another episode. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Making Lite with you motherfucking boys. We out here. I like doing this. I like that we're doing it more regularly, just like for sure sticking to it.
Yeah,
it's just becoming more of a habit.
Yeah,
and
that was why when you texted me, you were like podcast, and I was like, oh, I forgot it was today. And then you gave me the out, and I was like, no, because if we do that, we'll get inconsistent.
Exactly.
Like
no,
we gotta
I
stick
just
with
felt
it.
back that I really thought that your wife was still around.
Oh yeah, no,
and
that made it sound like she died.
Yeah, that's what it is.
R.I.P. my wife at the hospital.
R.I.P.
right now.
Chelsea.
She's at the hospital.
Yeah, she literally is at the hospital.
She is saving lives. Actually, she just got a. If you looked at the OMA scan earlier, she's currently got a dude with an amputated leg in her OR at the moment.
You know, it's Monday.
Excellent car crash.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do it big.
Yeah, I'm at, dude. You ever put out, and this reminded me of because you said about Monday, or I said about a Monday. Do you ever put out something like on Facebook and then it doesn't get the reaction you expected, and you're like, man, that's way funnier than it seems on there. Maybe I'm just delusional.
Like everything I post on Facebook, bro.
Yeah. Well, like when the whole Russia thing was going on, like I don't know when this podcast is coming out, but Russia is at war with Ukraine right now, and it's pretty lit. But I mean, for somebody, Ukraine is literally lit in a few spots. So no, but I posted something stupid, but I thought it was pretty funny. But I was just like something along the lines of like, nothing will make a Thursday feel like a Monday, like war.
Yes,
dude, that's funny.
I like it. I like it. And then, dude, the memes right now, I'm loving.
Oh, dude, it's tough. I had to stop following it though, because I was on Twitter like following the Ukraine hashtag and like getting the updates. I'm like, oh, dude, I am so sad.
We can't do that.
I can't do this.
No,
it's tough.
There was a Tony Geist. Old Tony Geist, if you watch a couple episodes back, you'll see him on the podcast, had one of the funniest posts about it that I've seen so far, though. And it was original. I've seen it happen. I've seen somebody else say something similar now, but Tony was for sure the first, and I want to make sure he gets the credit for it, because he posted he's like, I've been loving all this nostalgia from my childhood. He was like, it's been great. I'm just not super sure about this Cold War reboot, though.
Yeah. That's really funny. Yeah. Oh, man, it's pretty wild though. I wanted to make another joke too, because there's this whole theory of like, it's for sure fake, I'm pretty sure, of the ghost of Kiev, that is this like fighter pilot that supposedly has on his own taken out like 6 Russian planes, and that he's like Top Gunning it right now, just like killing all these Russians, right? I mean, it could be real, but I'm gonna be real with you, that just sounds unreal. It sounds like propaganda to like make people feel better about Ukraine going through war.
I mean, has anybody seen Tom Cruise lately?
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. That's a good point.
Is Maverick over there?
That's so funny.
Through the sky.
It's literally Tom Cruise. He's just with this fake smile. It's a Tom Cruise deep fake.
Ghost of Goose. Ghost of Goose is up there with him.
That'd be hilarious.
Dude, did you see that? Like 7 soldiers that were on that island. Did you see about that?
Dude, did you? Yeah, the ones that were like, go fuck yourself?
Yeah, they were like, hey, Russian warship, go fuck yourself.
There was a thing that I saw today that says that there's a possibility they're alive.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So hopefully they're alive.
If they're alive, those are the only 7 people I think we should go get.
Oh, for sure. They deserve it.
Those are Americans. Bring them here.
Yeah. No, but what I was thinking of making a joke about was like the only people to actually ghost Ukraine was NATO.
Oh no! Oh, dude, there was a meme I just saw. It was like a Lord of the Rings meme where it was how they're like have you seen Lord of the Rings? I guess I should ask. Fuck you. No. You're a terrible person of tint.
I'm aware. No, I haven't seen it, but continue on for your story because the people are listening.
Yeah, these people will get it.
Yeah,
you'll follow along. So there's this point in the movie where the hobbits got to go throw this ring in, right? And they're trying, people are pledging to go with them. And so like the dwarf's like, oh, you have my axe. And then the elf's like, you've got my bow. And then the human is like, you've got my sword. And then they kind of walk off together onto this journey, right? And so it's a picture of Ukraine, and the U.S. is like, you have my axe, and all these other places say the same thing. And then like the next slide is Ukraine just walking with all those weapons themselves and nobody around with them.
That's hilarious.
This is perfect, actually. The fact that this war has started is perfect for our podcast.
Yeah.
Because it really does illustrate like what we're trying to make a point of. Like,
yeah.
Somebody the other day posted online, and while I get like people are dying
for sure,
losing limbs, like this is not good.
I got a hot take too. Yeah. Go ahead. Keep going.
But nothing that I say, be it, oh, I'm going to send my thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
Or fuck Ukraine. Right?
Yeah.
Nothing is going to help.
Has
right?
zero effect.
So
they have the same effect.
Yeah, exactly.
You can say them back to back.
I might as well laugh.
Yeah, for sure.
What's the alternative? Be sad? I'm already sad all the time.
That's how that was literally my mentality. I was like watching, and my wife was watching. She was like, "Are you okay?" Like she was actually like, "What's wrong? What was your issue?" Like she didn't realize, and I was like, I actually like kind of like in my mind kind of going through it. I wasn't about to cry or anything, but I was just like actually sad. So I was like, damn, dude, like I can't believe this is happening. Like that's so sad. Like, and I'm watching, and this was like, granted, this was when it was breaking news. Like Wednesday night after Blackline Mike, it happened, and then because it was like 5 a.m. in Ukraine. And then the stories start piling in, and as I'm getting home, it's like blowing up my phone. So I'm watching it as it's happening, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm freaking out. I'm not freaking out, but I'm just like stressing about it. I'm like, that's crazy, dude. And then she's like, what's your problem? Like, what's going on? And I literally was like, the problem is that Russia's invaded Ukraine, Eve. I'm like, that's what's happening to me. Eve, leave me alone. I was like, literally like snapped on her. She was like, what? She's like, oh, and being sad's gonna help. You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? I was like, that's a good point. You know what I mean? But like, my hot take was, and I'm not one, like I have some jokes that I do about race, and I don't like finding the racist part in anything. That's not who I am. Like I think it's funny to do that sometimes, but realistically speaking, I feel like people are so worked up about Ukraine, at least in the US, because they can see themselves in those people.
So are you trying to say that if Russia took out Nigeria,
that's exactly. Hey! Don't need to finish the question. That's exactly what I'm asking. That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm glad you're on the same page. I'm glad you guys are following because that's exactly what I'm saying. You know why? Because there's countries at war right now. There's like genocide happening all over the world where there's brown people. Nobody gives two shits about it. You know what I mean?
100%. I agree. I agree with what you're saying. I think the only difference is that it's a superpower that's doing it, right? I don't think we care about two countries that we don't care about fighting.
Well, China's a superpower.
Yeah, but they're killing their own people. Like, we don't care about that. Like, if you want to get right down to it, that we don't care if you kill your own people, that's on you.
That's true.
It's but if China were to take over Taiwan, like everybody's worried about now.
Oh, let me tell you that absolutely nothing's gonna happen. They're not doing anything. I guarantee you they're not.
No, they're not. They're not that.
We're gonna have the same conversation. Also, not gonna trend because you can't tell a Taiwanese person apart from a Chinese person.
It's racist, bro.
Yeah, but it's also true, so it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like okay, let me modify that. I can't tell apart a Taiwanese person from a Chinese person, okay? Like, my point is that, like, I really feel like that's a big part of it. Because the people you're seeing, like, bro, I don't know if you're on Twitter, but how many people on Twitter right now are posting these posts about, like, these, let's be real, objectively pretty girls going to the war, going to, like, protect Ukraine. Everybody's like, oh, no. Like, dude, put some warlocks in front of the camera, and everybody was like, yeah, fuck them. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. You first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're up front.
Yeah.
Like, it's I don't know. I think that definitely has something to do with it. I'm not saying that people are like not genuine about their feelings. I think people are really sad, but I think part of what makes you sad is the fact that you can almost see yourself in that. And I don't think that's ever happened before. Like if you kind of think back, I mean, obviously the Holocaust was a thing.
I was like,
no, but people couldn't. No, but we didn't know. Like the United States didn't know what was going on there. Like
that's true.
People in the U.S. weren't aware.
Yeah, we got drug into that. Yeah, we didn't have social media back then.
If Twitter existed back then, it would have lasted 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Like it would have been over quick because that's somebody that looks like me.
We'd have dropped that sun a lot sooner.
Exactly. No, for real. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I'm not saying it's never happened. I'm just saying like it's never been available for people to see it and for you to like have that perspective of somebody that looks like you going through something that you could imagine going through. Right.
Sorry. Side note. Japan is known as the land of the rising sun.
Okay.
Did they coin that phrase like post atomic bomb drop?
Oh shoot. No, because then it'd be the land of the dropping sun.
I mean, yeah. I was just thinking about that.
That's hilarious. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think that that's the whole reason why people are sad. I think people are just sad because they're sad. Like,
I think people are legitimately concerned that this could lead to. I mean, Russia next to us has the most nuclear weapons in the world.
Right.
Like, this could turn really bad.
I have coworkers who are like, they're not going to do anything. Like, they understand that nuclear weapons would kill anybody. I'm like, oh, you think he cares? Like I don't think you guys get the way dictators work. Like they don't. Yeah, they're cool with dying, bro. Like they don't care. They just want to win. You know what I mean? Like you think that Putin's gonna be like, everyone's gonna die. Like me too. Like, oh well, at least I won. You know what I mean? Like that's exactly how that's gonna go. So like the idea that he's gonna like have some moral quandary as far as like, oh no, I can't kill everyone. Like he's obviously fine.
Yeah. No, you're right. The one, you know what? One of the great things about being American is strategically speaking, our country is awesome.
Yeah.
Because, like, how you going to invade us, bro?
Yeah, for sure.
You can't do it by sea. We'll see it coming.
Well, also, we're allies with the surrounding countries.
Yeah.
So, like, bring it, bro. You know
right.
what I mean? Like, also, where we live is a dope spot to live because, like, you might hit a New York with like a missile or two. You're not getting to Omaha. You know what I mean?
No.
Like,
or Austin when we get there.
No,
right? Like
exactly.
You're not getting there.
No, you're not getting there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, strategically speaking. I mean, also you guys get what? Fuck it. Russia can have Alaska. That's fine. Yeah. Take Sarah Palin and the moose.
Alaska fits your like demographic of like your geography better anyways. Like
also, I can't think of any people that are more ready to take on the Russians than the Alaskans.
Yeah, also Alaskans, other than Texans, are the only people that are like, no, I'm not American, I'm Alaskan.
Yeah, I feel like everybody in Alaska is Rambo. They'll be sitting in the fucking trees, jumping out on Russian soldiers, slitting throats.
Dude, I'm not even worried about if we get invaded by Russia because let's say it gets down to that, this is my strategic plan. I hope Biden's listening. Okay, like this is my plan.
He's asleep, bro. It's fucking 6:30 at night.
That's a good point. It's bedtime. No, my plan is this: if we get invaded by Russia, in any way, I say Mexico and United States, we like open that border up and we just call ourselves just a large country, right? Like we just adopt Mexico. Oh, and then we have the United States military, dope, and cartels fighting on our side. Dude, they're gonna be bumping corridos while they're like murdering Russians. You're not ready for that, bro. Like it's one thing to get like disrespected right before you die. Is another thing to hear like fucking trumpets blaring in the last moments of your life.
It's just the most loud, obnoxious mariachi band ever.
Their tanks have like fart cans on them, dude. Like, it's another level, bro. Like, you're not ready for that.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's wild world we live in, but it gives us material, dude. I'm a firm believer, like kind of what you're saying about like, hey, being sad about it doesn't help. So like, let's make fun of it. Let's be happy. Let's not be happy about it, but like, let's laugh about it at least. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like, if I died tragically, I hope that day somebody would make a joke. Like that's literally how I feel. Like if I were to tragically die, obviously like be like be sensitive to my wife's feelings, but like when you're hanging with the homies without me, be like, yeah, man, like I'm surprised it wasn't diabetes. Like that's crazy.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Say some shit. You know what I mean? Like that's how you live. Like carry on my legacy at least.
No, I agree. I get that completely. Speaking of which, has anybody checked Anthony Jeselnik's Twitter? He's got to have a hot take or two.
He doesn't even do social media.
What?
Yeah, I don't think he does social media. I followed him on Instagram. He's unverified, and he has like 2 posts. Like he doesn't, and I know it's the right post because Rogan follows that same page and everybody else follows that page, but it's unverified, and it's got like no posts.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have a Twitter.
He might have a Twitter. I don't know.
That seems crazy. I'm gonna look this up while we're talking.
He seems like the type of dude to like avoid all of those things so that he can get him on stage.
No, he's got to have a Twitter because he talks about in his one special about how he tweeted it right after the Boston bombing, and that's what that pissed everybody off. But maybe he deleted it. Anthony Jeselnik.
Anthony Jeselnik is one of those dudes whose joke writing ability I admire. Like the levels that he has to his jokes. He did this joke, which is you can feel however you feel about it, but the joke goes along the lines. You can find it on Instagram. I think I sent it to you. Along the lines of he runs into a lady and asks her what she does for a living, and she goes brain surgeon, and he goes I laughed. He's like, women usually can't pull off sarcasm. Like, dude, that's disrespectful on so many levels. I respect the fuck out of that. Like that's so funny.
He does have a Twitter, but he hasn't tweeted anything. I can't believe he hasn't tweeted about it.
I'm telling you, dude. Like I feel like social media kind of became kind of like a minefield for people who are real worried about that. I don't know if I don't follow Anthony Jeselnik super closely. Does he have a podcast? I don't think so.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't think he does.
I mean, he's never popped up in any of the stuff that I watch. So
I've seen him on podcast, like 1 or 2 podcasts. Never, like very rarely does he even do podcasts. I don't think he definitely doesn't have one of his own. So he seems like one of those dudes that's just like a stage guy, which is something to be said for that. It's pretty cool. I think. Well, that's dope. But yeah, man, his joke writing is insane. That's what dude, I've been like seriously thinking about the whole idea, because even right now I was listening to a podcast the other day and there was a couple people talking about how New York is still the place to go to get good. Like to get good at like the grind that you find and like the people who are there and the it's not even the comedians who are there, it's like the everyday folks that are from New York that force you to make them like those are the people you gotta make laugh. I feel like that's what makes you good. I'm like, damn, dude, like I've been like listening to a lot of New York comics and I'm like, these dudes are good. Like objectively, if you compare comedians wherever they're from and is in pure like skill level, at least like from what I like, by far my favorite comedians are from New York, like easily, like not even close. Like if I take the top 10, my top 10 favorite comedians, it's like 6-4, maybe 7-3, possibly.
Fuck, now I'm sitting here thinking.
And like you gotta realize like the guys who are from New York, like Joey Diaz is one of my favorites, but he's from New York. Right. Like he did his thing in LA, but he's back in New Jersey now.
But that's where he cut his chops.
Yeah,
in New York.
exactly.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Who else though? Bill Burr's not from New York. He's a Boston guy.
Yeah, he's a Boston guy. But I mean, that's what I mean though. East Coast. East Coast is kind of what I mean. Yeah. Not necessarily New York City.
But I think there's a big difference though in New York and Boston. Like when you're talking comics wise, right?
Agree.
So I think the big difference, and I think a lot of that, you're right. Like the type of humor that you like. I feel like New York comics are much more like set up punchline banger, like Mark Norman, right? When he was just like banger, 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 and they weren't one liners, but they were short, concise jokes.
Short set up punchline. Yeah.
Whereas like a lot of my favorite comedians is kind of like Bill Burr, Tom Segura, Burt Kreischer, that are more like the story based shit, right? And so I think you're super correct in, if you're gonna make people in New York laugh, they got short attention spans. Like you gotta,
and like you can do the whole story thing too, but you've got to set, like let's say you're doing a 15-minute set, you need like 6-7 minutes of bangers before you can do a 3-minute story.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you better
win that crowd over.
Yeah, you have to get their attention and know that like, hey, this one's a little longer, but just stick with me. There's something at the end here. Like you want to hear it.
Right.
And that's kind of what I'm trying to implement to my comedy recently. Just kind of, obviously I can't move to New York, so like I'm trying to implement those ideas into here, because I feel like anything that's going to work in New York is going to work here for the most part. I mean, obviously there's going to be some stuff that's not, but like for the most part, I think it'll work well. I was talking to Zach Bravietti the other day. And he sent me a video or a voice recording of his set that he did. And I'm laughing listening to it because it's new jokes and they're very good. And I was like, oh, wow, like that's funny. But no one's laughing. And his delivery was on point, bro. Like he was nailing them. And to the point where I was laughing out loud in my car just listening to this. And there's nobody laughing in the recording. Towards the end of his set, or towards the middle of his set, he started getting laughs and then he kind of built and then he was doing really well at the end. But I was like, I can't believe, like that's wild. Like the stuff that I think is funny is not funny. At least not over there. This is what I'm struggling with lately, watching it. And maybe this is something out there too. Like, I don't know how, I know what Zach's jokes were like when he was here, right? So I don't know if it's still some of the darker stuff that he's doing, right? And trying to like be a little edgier, which I love, by the way. Let me be clear. I like that stuff. But I've noticed a lot at shows lately that when people do quote unquote edgier material, or, race material and stuff like that, they'll say a joke and I'll look at the crowd and I see a lot of this. Right? That like, I can't laugh because I feel bad. And so, even some of this edgier stuff I see people do where they're like, oh, fuck, I bombed. I'm like, I don't think you did. I think those people liked that joke. I saw them smiling and preventing themselves from laughing out loud because they didn't want to seem like an asshole. So it's like, fuck, how do you judge it if people won't give themselves permission to laugh out loud? I think you have to become undeniable. I think that's the way and if you're honest, like that's the way to get really good too. Like if you make yourself, and obviously easier said than done, I don't know what I'm talking about obviously, but like my perspective is that if you make your joke so good that it's fucked up, but you can't help but laugh, then how good is that joke? Like that's got to be a great joke.
Yeah, you're right. But even when I was at Rogan in Lincoln, right? He had some really well crafted funny shit that was edgy as fuck, right? And I could see it. People wanted to laugh, but they were sitting next to their friend who had purple hair. And they wouldn't do it.
At a Joe Rogan show.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it's kind of mentality. Like I people look at me. We just went to a show yesterday, and I laugh at anything I find funny. I'll laugh at it. Like out loud. I don't care. Like I don't care what anybody thinks of me because I know where I'm at. I'm at a comedy show.
Yeah.
I'm not at a seminar. You know what I mean? I'm not at a pastor's meeting. I'm at a comedy show. You know what I mean? So like if somebody talks about how, like the joke we heard yesterday about how somebody got diddled by their uncle when they were young. Like, hey man, you set it up perfectly, executed it. That's funny. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna laugh. Yeah. Like, and people won't give themselves permission because people have this perspective that like, oh, if I'm at a comedy show and I laugh at some dark jokes, people are going to see me different. Like, I don't think that's the case. At least not with everybody. Like that might be the case with one or two people, but like also fuck those people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like who cares? Like
why you care what those
you're
people
at
think?
A comedy show, bro. Like I don't know.
Would you call yourself an easy laugh?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I'd call myself a pretty easy laugh. I find so much funny.
Yeah, that's true.
And I have my sense of humor is so like across the board. I laugh at a lot of stuff. So when I don't laugh at things, I feel like that's
Here's my thing. I'm not a person who gives away laughs. I'm not out here just like, that's good. That's funny to anybody. I don't do that. But I also don't hold back laughs. And that's a thing that a lot of people do. Like I know comics who like will watch something that's funny, but they don't want you to think it's funny. No, they don't want you to think that they think it's funny. So they won't laugh. I've seen it happen. Like I've seen people like hold themselves back from laughing and then just kind of keep a straight face. And then like I'm like, what are we doing? Like what's the goal here? Yeah. Like I don't understand. You know what I mean? Like, what are you trying to accomplish? Do you think like I think more of you because you're not laughing? I don't
feel too cool for school.
Yeah, don't care what you think. You know what I mean? Like, don't need your opinion. I really don't. Like, I appreciate the hell out of every comic's opinion when it comes to comedy, in the sense that like everybody's got a different perspective, so everybody can bring something unique to the table. But like, I don't at all need you to tell me I'm funny. You know what I mean? Because like, I say this, and this kind of come off like wrong, but like, I say this to a lot of people, especially people who are very hard on themselves. I'm like, well, don't kid yourself though, because you also think you're funny. Because if you didn't think you're funny, you wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? So like, you wouldn't be doing mics every day. You wouldn't be hitting all the mics. You wouldn't be trying to get on shows. You wouldn't be writing material because you wouldn't think you're funny. So you would give up already. I'm like, so to an extent, you think you're funny. So I think I'm funny. So I don't need you to like laugh at my material. So what are we doing here holding back laughs?
Right.
Like, have a good time, man. Like,
yeah.
I think about this when it comes to like Rogan's podcast and stuff, because he puts out this idea that he says like when he was like 19 or whatever, when he started comedy, he was like, I would get jealous when friends would do well. And he's like, and I would like be like, oh man, like, why is he doing well? Like, I wish I was doing well. And I get actually jealous. And I think the reason why I appreciate that and why I try to implement that into my own mentality of like not getting jealous is because I feel like I could for sure fall into that. Like, I think if nobody ever told me that, and if I didn't have any like self perspective of being able to see how I'm acting, I think 100% I could fall into the whole like, oh fuck man, like, why is he so funny, and get upset about it.
Yeah.
And like, I find it, the fact that he's put that out there, literally even before I even did comedy, I was like, okay, I need to make sure that's never me. Like, I need to make sure that's like, you can try to, you can work through material and work through what's funny, what's not funny, but like, don't do that. You know what I mean? Don't be that guy, because nobody likes that guy.
I use that as a motivation thing, like, like I want to see my friends do well. And everybody in the scene, right? Even if we're not friends, I want to see you do well.
I want to see everybody do well.
Cordial and civil and nice, because one, you never know where your help might come from, right?
Right.
Like, somebody gets on a really awesome show, and instead of being like, oh, I wish it was me, like, oh, fuck that person, right? Well, instead, I'm like, fuck yeah, bro, high five, pump them up. And then maybe that person that booker calls him and is like, hey, do you I can't have you on the show again. You were just on it last month. Is there anybody you got in mind? Like, maybe they help you hook you up. Right. And that's not saying like you should use people to do that.
You're not doing it for that reason, but that is a positive like side effect of being a genuine good person. Yeah.
And then when I see, my friends, especially like you guys, like my close friends, right? Like you and Rachel and Tyrell and John and everybody, like when I see you guys get something or do something that's fucking awesome, like that motivates me. I'm like, fuck yeah, that's awesome. I'm so happy for them. Also, like, fuck, I need to work a little harder.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I got to write a new joke. I've been doing the same shit, right? Like, it's like it is so easy to fall into that jealousy thing, but instead, how about you turn it around on yourself and you use it to be better? Like,
yes,
just be better.
For sure. And I think that's kind of part of it. I don't know. I like. One of the best compliments that I've had somebody tell me since I started doing comedy has nothing to do with my comedy. One of the best compliments, I don't want to say who told it to me, but they said to me that when they're around me, they feel like everybody's friends. Like we're all the comics are friends. And I'm like, fuck yes, dude. That's exactly my goal. Like that's all I want to do. You know what I mean? Because like, it kind of goes back to the thing you're talking about. Like, I want everybody to do well. It's annoying when somebody bombs before you, like, and you got to come back from that. But also, like, if we go do let's say we go do a mic tonight, we're going to do a mic tonight, and everyone murders, it's a good night. You know what I mean? Like, you go home like happy, you feel good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, I don't get this mentality of like, and I don't think people necessarily wish poorly on people, but they're indifferent to how people do. And like, I genuinely want people to do well. But I get it. Like some people are of the mentality of like, you have to just kind of eyes on your own paper kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like kind of just focus on yourself. And I get that. That's fine. Like there's definitely different strokes for different folks, right? Like everybody's got a different mentality, a different way of doing things. So I get that. But I don't think that it affects you in any way to like wish good on people.
No, it doesn't. But there's a lot of comics out there I know that don't watch other comic sets. And I get it. Like I enjoy watching everybody's sets just because I like seeing like what's new that people are coming up with and kind of where people's heads are, and I enjoy watching some of that. But I think there is something too to where like if people are really trying to work hard on themselves and break some bad habits and stuff, where it's like I'm just gonna focus on myself. I'm just gonna focus on myself. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing.
No, not at all. I agree with that. But my thing is just like, for example, I'll use our friend group as an example. Like, I have made more progress now that I have this friend group because you guys are dead honest with me. So like, and we've obviously built that. Like, it didn't just get there overnight, but like, you guys are dead honest with me to where if I do a joke and it's not funny, you guys are just like, yeah, that's not funny. You know what I mean? Like, at least not right now. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And like that is the type of thing that I think is valuable. Like, I don't know, like there is the whole thing of like, do it yourself and have your own people, or sorry, have your own jokes and have your own material in the sense of like, you're the one crafting it. But I don't find anything wrong with having somebody give you notes and like give you their perspective, because you don't have to use the notes. Like, when somebody gives you a suggestion, it's a suggestion.
Yeah,
like that's all it is. So nobody's writing your jokes for you, nobody's doing anything. You're just having a third perspective or a second perspective on your material that you may not have thought of. And if you like it, you don't even need to take exactly what they told you. You could just continue the thought on that path that they started, and you're gonna get to somewhere on your own that's something genuine that you came up with.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But
God, I get so annoyed with that whole conversation of like, oh well, that's not, you didn't write that whole thing yourself. Like, fuck you, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
like I think that like collaboration is so awesome. Right, I've gotten some great tags for some of my jokes from you guys, right? Mm-hmm. But I think it is important to have people around you. There's a lot of people that surround themselves with people that are going to pump them up.
Yes, man.
Right? Yes, exactly. And there's something super important, like you just hit the nail on the head, that if I say something to you guys and I'm like, I like this idea, you guys will look me in the eye and be like, trash. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And while then that may hurt a little bit, right? Because I was like super excited about it. I also know that like I'm going to get honest feedback, and you never get better from only positive feedback.
No,
ever.
For sure.
And so that I value that so much. And then I think there's a huge thing to be said about having people around you that are striving to be better and also that are better than you.
Yes, for sure.
You know, you can't, nobody's getting better if they're just around everybody at the same level. Like, you got to have somebody to look at and be like, oh fuck, that's what they mean by that, right?
Yeah. That's why I like going to those. We here in Omaha, we do like a Clash of the Comics, and you get to see a local comic headline. Mm-hmm. And that's what I like about that, because you get to see, like, the first time I ever saw Jason Regan at the Funny Bone, it blew me away, because up until then I had only seen him bomb a bunch at the Gate 10, because that's just how Gate 10 goes. Jason Regan, who's like an accomplished, like in my eyes, accomplished and like a successful guy in a hilarious comic. On shows we've been on together, he's so good. He's one of my favorite guys in the scene. Bombs regularly, you know what I mean? Like at Gate 10.
And that also helped me, like watching that helped me realize that's what this is for.
Exactly.
It's fucking practice. We're trying shit out. Like, I'm trying the flea flicker at practice.
Yeah.
To make sure, could this maybe work?
Yeah.
And that's a perfect example of Jason had this joke that he was working on for a while at Gate 10. I saw him do it a lot. And then I saw him headline at the Funny Bone at that Clash of Comics, and he did the same joke he'd been doing, and it murdered. And it was different than I'd ever heard him say it before, right? You could tell, like, every time he did it, he tweaked it. And then he made one final tweak before he brought it to the show that he didn't never do it at Mike, and it was just like, it was cool to see that whole thing come together.
Yep. That's dope.
I don't think have we done a podcast since Mark Normand?
Yes. Yeah, we did. We talked about Mark Norman on the last podcast with Julian.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We talked about it we for sure did.
Okay. Because that was something that I love too, is watching him like use that last 10 minutes of his set as like an open mic where he tried new jokes and stuff.
Yeah.
Because it made me be like, oh, everybody writes shitty jokes. Even this awesome banger comic from New York has some shitty jokes that he's trying to work out right now.
Yeah, for sure.
We're just trying them in different places. He's trying them while he's sold out at the Funny Bone. I'm trying them at Gate 10 in front of 2 homeless people.
Yeah. Levels. No, man, but it's fun. I fucking have a blast. But yeah, it's interesting. Speaking of the Clash, I don't know. This would be a funny part because I'm gonna say it now. I think I'm gonna win. I'm on the Clash.
You better knock on some, bro.
Nah, bro. Nah, fuck that. I don't need that, baby. You got skills, dog. I don't need wood. No, I will say that though. This will be funny because we're gonna edit this. So by the time now, we will know if I won or not. So I'll have an edit there letting us know what exactly happened. But I'm gonna be on the Clash this Thursday, this coming up March, whatever it is, 3rd or whatever. And yeah, I'm on. I don't even know who's on the lineup, but I just got an email today from Daisy, who runs the Funny Bone, asking if I wanted to jump in on the lineup. And your boy is not one to turn down opportunities. You know what I mean? Even if I'm not ready for them. So, we're doing it. But I'm gonna call it, man. I think I'm gonna win, just because you have to think that.
Well, yeah, you can't go into any sort of competition not thinking.
My cousin taught me that, man. My cousin Obed, he's a baker. He makes all sorts of like beautiful wedding cakes and like also in food and like he's an artist he's a culinary artist is what he is. Right. And like in the truest form, he is one of the people I look up to for like inspiration and being your true self. Like he is a person that I admire to the fullest. Right. And one of the things that he surprised me when we were young, I remember he might not even remember this, but I remember we were hanging out at I don't remember where it was. I think we were at like a farmer's market or something. He was selling his stuff, and some lady comes up to him and she was like, "How good are your breads?" And in my mind, I was gonna reply and be like, "They're pretty good." And he goes, "They're the best." And then she was like, "What do you mean they're the best?" And he's like, "Yeah, they're the best. Like you've never had bread better than this." And he's super uber confident, right? And I'm like, Jesus. And then she's like, "Really?" She's like, "How do you know?" He's like, "I just know." He's like, "I just know they're the best." He's like, "I've had other bread." He's like, "This is better than everything." And I'm just like listening to him. And then she's like, "Are you always this like?" And the lady kind of took it the wrong way. She was kind of like, "Are you always this cocky?" And then he gave her a line that was gold, and that's kind of how I lead my life in my mind, at least, where he said, "If you're not in it to be the best, then why are you in it?" He's like, "I think I'm the best in the world." He's like, "And that's why I do it." He's like, "Because I believe that." He's like, "And I'm getting better every day." He's like, "But if you don't believe you're the best, then why do you do it?" You know what I mean? Like you have to be your biggest fan. And that's kind of how I've developed my own mentality when it comes to like me as a comic. I fucking know I'm not the best in the world, right? But like at that moment on stage, I believe that I'm funny as hell. Like I am the funniest person in the room in that moment, because that's just how you have to be. At least my perspective is, you know what I mean? Like I have this thing that I say to myself whenever I'm feeling a little bit down, because I do have these moments, and I think every comic does, I would assume, but I have these moments where I doubt everything I do. Like I like everything. Like I'll wake up one morning and then I'll just like I'll think about my jokes and I'm like, "Oh, well, that's garbage." You know what I mean? Like I never need to do comedy again. Like I'm not any good at this. What am I doing? And I'm just getting in my head. I'll get in my head real bad, and I'll think about all this stuff, and it's tough sometimes. But what always kind of sticks in my head is that saying my cousin told me, and kind of the way I've kind of interpreted now too, is that like you can talk yourself up to a certain level, right? Like you can say I'm the best in the world, but you can only perform till you're top of your ability. That's your ceiling, and you can't ever go past that. So talking yourself up in your head and inside of yourself will never be negative, because you can only. It's not like you can talk yourself past that point. You can only do right up to what you're able to do. But if you doubt yourself, you can definitely underperform from that level. Like you're never like doubting yourself is never going to put you over that either. Right. You know what I mean? So like that's kind of how I personally portray like myself, and how I try to think of like I have to be my biggest fan. I have to be my biggest critic too, but like I definitely have to be my biggest fan.
Oh, 100%. That kind of correlates back to well, actually, I got a couple different things. For the last thing that you just said, though, about your ceiling, right, is the cool thing about what we're doing is we can move our ceiling. Yeah. But you can't do it by talking yourself up. You got to put in the work. Exactly. Right? And I think that's where the difference is. There's a lot of people out there that think they're the best. and they think they're already the best.
Yeah.
And they just keep doing what they're doing and they never get any better.
Well, that's why it's 100% true. Like what you're saying, like you have to pair that with hard work.
Oh yeah.
Right. Because you can't, it's like pushing your ceiling every time. You can only make the ceiling higher if you push it up. You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna sit here and watch the ceiling get higher. Like you have to actively work and make that shit higher every time you get on stage. And then that way you're better every time. Yeah. Because you're pushing yourself.
Have you ever popped the top of a fucking house, bro, and added another level?
Exactly.
That's a lot of fucking work.
Exactly.
You gotta take all them motherfucking trusses off, and you gotta build framing and everything. Shit. And I kind of equivalent it back. We haven't talked a lot about this in the podcast yet, but I fought for a really long time.
Yeah.
And same concept. Like you have to go into a fight knowing you're going to win.
Yeah.
You may still fucking lose, but if you go into that fight going, I think I can win,
you're gonna lose.
You're almost always gonna lose.
It's tough, man.
There's these mind games that you have to play with yourself.
And I can do this for myself now. Like right now I'm chilling and I think I'm funny. And like I said, I think I'm going to win. But like my trouble is right before I get on stage. Yeah. Like I got to think I'm funny right there.
Yeah.
Because I've had moments all the time. It's happened to me a few times where I'm like, oh man, I hope this goes well. And it never goes well when I think that. Yeah. But every time that I get on stage, I'm like, okay, let's fucking get it. Like, let's go, dude. I'm going to kill this shit. It goes well. Like almost every time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like it is a lot about your personal perspective and like your mentality going into that.
There's a lot of parallels between the fight game and comedy, for me at least. So like one of them is like a show day, right? When I wake up and it's a show day, it feels like a fight day to me. I'm a little on edge. I'm a little nervous. I'm going through my game plan in my head. I'm trying to figure out what set I'm going to do, right? Like that day is nervous. And then you get to the venue and I'm like, fucking game time. And you gotta put yourself in that mindset of like, this is going to go well, because just like on stage or in the fight game, if you step onto that stage or into the ring and you give your opponent or the crowd a glimpse of non-confidence, it's over.
Yeah.
It's over. They're like, we've got him.
Yeah.
We got him. Let's just heckle the shit out of this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I agree with you. And I also think you're probably going to win.
Thank you.
And you're also 100% spot on. On the second, like, so while, yeah, I think I'm fucking hilarious. Why wouldn't we be doing this? But I am for sure my worst critic. And I've been in a funk for fucking a month. You know, I've been in this weird funk of like, none of this shit's funny. Like, I want to throw all this shit away. And then we'll go do a show in Yankton. And then it goes really well. And I'm like, oh yeah. Like, it's just. But it's interesting how like those negative thoughts are so more powerful than your positive ones. Because, so I had a set recently. Where was it? I don't even remember. Oh, it was at Backline. And I had a set recently where I've had to follow this guy who was doing some weird stuff on stage. And I had a very good set. Like, I went up on the stage. I made fun of him for like a minute and a half, and then I did my jokes, and it did very well. And then in that moment, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm funny. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I got it. And the next day I was like, oh, nah, man. I was like, I don't know. I was like doubting everything. I was like, because I had a good set making fun of this guy. So I was like, well, I feel like they were only laughing because I had already gotten them laughing because I was making fun of this guy. So this wasn't really that funny. Like, I don't have a true read on it. And I was just like overthinking everything, overanalyzing everything. And I was just like stressing out about it. You know why? It's because we're not afraid of success. We're afraid of failure.
Right.
Right. You're never gonna be terrified to be successful. Not necessarily the case. Like that, there is something to be said about like you get to a certain level and you're like, that imposter syndrome kicks in and you're like, fuck, should I really even be here?
That stuff kicks in right now, man.
Yes,
it does. It really does for me. Like there'll be times where I'll have like an okay set, you know what I mean? And I'm just working some stuff out. And in my head, I'm like, man, what am I doing here? Like, like, why are you even here, bro? You know what I mean? Like, go home. And like, it's tough to get out of that, dude. Like those negative thoughts are so powerful. And like, thank God, at least personally, I have those thoughts only with comedy. Like everything else, I'm a fairly confident person in general. Like I think it just comes down to the fact that I know who I am. Most, like, generally speaking, obviously there's a lot to discover about myself. Me and you've been over this before, but like as a person, I know who I am. So I'm comfortable in most situations because I know who I am. So like I know how to react and genuinely. So I don't worry about it too much, and I'm fairly confident. But comedy is the one place where I'm like not confident because I've obviously never done this before I started doing it, and I also haven't been like good at it yet. You know what I mean? Like I'm not successful in that. Where like in life I've had success in a few areas, so I'm like, okay, I can figure it out or something, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, I just had something and I lost it. You literally what you said just triggered it. You were talking
being
about
successful in life.
Being successful. Oh, no, actually it wasn't what you just said. We were going back a little bit is those like nerves before you get on stage. I think that's so important though, because I feel like if you don't have any nerves at all, not going to go well. If you have no nerves, right, at all, it typically doesn't go well. You see that a lot. Like if you're too calm, right? Like, oh, I'm ready for this. Like if you're too calm, I've had that before where I went into a fight and I was just like, it was weird because I always get backstage jitters real bad. And like this fight, I was just like,
chilling.
I'm good. Me and my coach warmed up. He was like, how you feeling? I was like, I feel fine. And I went out so flat. I went out so flat and I got punched in the mouth in the first round.
Oof.
And that's what it took to wake me up. And I was like, fuck. Like I got to the corner after our first round and my coach was like, what the fuck is going on? And I was like, I'm about to beat this motherfucker's ass. And he was like, about fucking time.
I hope
like,
so.
What is happening right now? But it was, I feel like it was like I was overconfident at that point. Like coming into it, I was like, it was a dude that I was supposed to beat.
You were like, it was writing him off, kind of.
Yeah. Like I was just not nervous about it.
Yeah.
And then after that fight, like I was never not nervous again.
Right.
I was always like, oh fuck.
Well, you need that, right? Like what you're saying, you need to have that. It's like you have to make sure you're dotting your T's and crossing your I's, or however the fuck that saying goes. I dot the T's.
Doesn't go like that.
I dot the T's. But yeah, like I don't know. There's something to that for sure. Like being nervous does have an aspect to it. I find myself struggling when it comes to the moment when you're getting on stage and of like making the crowd, excuse me, having the crowd believe that I believe in myself. Because sometimes, and it's not even that I don't believe in myself, sometimes I just go up there low energy because I am a pretty mellow guy. Like I talk like this all the time.
Right.
And the only time I get high energy is when I get very passionate about, I don't know, anything, like random subjects like Mexicans from Texas or something. And like, and then I'll start getting up and like uppity and like yelling almost and like getting very animated. But up until then, I'm pretty mellow. So like, I've had to learn, and I have to do this for Thursday, is that I need to come in with high energy and then I need to keep that energy because, and it's not necessarily talking fast and loud and being animated. It's just like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like a confidence thing also. It's like you're there, you're not doubting what you're saying. You're 100% sure about what you're saying.
Yep.
And then the crowd can be like, oh yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about. Yep. And that adds a level of like, they kind of put their laughs in your hands and they're like, you know what I mean? Like when you have that confidence, you it's up to you. Like you're not like suggesting something. You're not like, oh, how about this? Can you laugh at this maybe?
Right.
You're like, no, this is funny. And you say it to them and it's in your hands and they laugh.
I've been working really hard on not coming out and asking the crowd how they're doing.
Yeah, same.
So trying to open that with like just trying to get a laugh as fast as I can. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that helps too. Sometimes, like when I first heard about that concept, I was like, stupid. Like,
right.
Why wouldn't I ask the crowd how they're doing? That seems disingenuous. And then I was like, oh, because every fucking comic that's gone up tonight has said that exact same phrase. How about I just make you laugh? right?
Exactly.
And then it's a game. Like, how fast can I get you to laugh? Right? I get up on stage. I look like a Coke dealer. Ha ha ha. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. Right. Then I say my name. Right. Like, it's and I think that also shows confidence, because now you're just, you get on stage and you're just working material right away. You're not trying to tippy toe around the crowd and figure out like, oh, I want to make you like me. Like, no, I'll make you like me by telling you a joke that's funny.
Yeah.
And while it doesn't work every time for me, like, that's something that I'm working really hard on right now.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about that last time about the whole New York thing. That's kind of that's for sure how that works out there. Like, one of the things we learned, and we mentioned it before, but it was that if you go out on an open mic in New York and you say, how's everybody doing? Everybody was like, click, turned off.
Yep.
Like, not listening anymore for the rest of the 5 minutes. We're out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, it's a good habit to get into. I'm trying to work on that as well. The other thing we were talking about, I don't remember, it might have been with you, was about how, it was with John, I think, how certain comics will challenge themselves to do crowd work, or not crowd work, to do improvising the first however many minutes of their set. And granted, that might be 5 minutes, it might be 10 seconds. Like, however long you can keep it going, getting consistent laughs, that's how long you're going to do just improv. Yeah. And then you get into your material. And I think I want to try to, after this week, obviously this week I need to kind of grind on the set I'm going to do Thursday, but after this week I'm for sure going to start doing that. I'm going to try to just kind of go up and just talk about, I might go up with an idea, or I might just go up and try to kind of riff off of somebody in the crowd or something, but I'm going to try to implement that in my material to kind of grow that chop, you know what I mean? Like, get that better.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for you for the Clash on Thursday. But I'm really excited. I'm heading back down to Austin.
That's gonna be dope.
See my kiddo. And she's got school all week, so I've got to have her like back to her mom's and in bed by a specific time every night. So I'm gonna hit some mics while I'm down there. I'm really excited about it. I'm gonna try to get on the Velveeta room down there, their open mic. I wasn't able to get on it last time, but Zach Peterson was just headlining there a couple weeks ago, and so I'm excited to take some of this new material we've been working on.
Talk about another guy in the scene that is uber talented.
Oh fuck yeah,
man! Like, watching him is one of those guys who you're like, goddamn.
Yeah.
Like, I got a lot of work to do.
Yeah. But it's one of those guys, I think it's so important to have, guys like Zach in the scene, Rachel. Let's not forget Rachel, right? Rachel's a fucking gangster. Yeah. I told her to fuck off on Facebook earlier today. So like, everybody was pumping her up on that, on her Facebook post. And I was like, that was the most okayest set I've ever seen you do. Yeah. You're my best acquaintance in this scene.
Best meet. I'm going to comment on it later and be like, that's the best scene I've ever seen a woman do.
We'll talk about this off camera. I'll tell you about what I was gonna. I screenshotted the post I was gonna post underneath it. So I said that, and then Rachel was like, "Oh, that's so funny. Maybe you should try doing comedy sometime." I was like, this bitch. And I had a comment typed out, and I was like, I can't say that because it'll blow up in the scene. Everybody will get pissy about it. Rachel knows I'm joking, obviously. Sure. So I screenshotted it and I sent it to her, and she was like, "Oh my god, that's amazing!" But I couldn't post it, so I'll show it to you after this.
That's funny.
But so like Zach, Rachel, Cameron, like to have people like that you can watch, and Jason Regan, obviously, and there's more, right? Like, I can't name them all, but like to have people like that you can watch and be like, oh, okay, this is what they mean by shortening a joke and trimming the fat. Oh, this is what, okay, like those little light bulb moments can happen when you see people like that consistently, and I, like, as much as I like to say, like, I want to shit on Rachel right now so hard, but she's so good. And like that, like, to be able to like sit around her and bounce shit off of her, like, has helped me grow so much.
Yeah.
And like, I'm thankful for that. Blah. Now go fuck yourself, Rachel. But
enough of that.
Yeah, it's I'm excited for this week, and I'm excited for you on Thursday. I'm coming back on Friday. Do we have anything going on this week? Oh, I got an improv. I'm gonna plug. I'm in the improv class, and Rachel's teaching it, and we have our class show on Saturday, and it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be really good. It's gonna be fun as fuck.
I'm excited for that.
And then maybe we can watch some fights after that.
Yeah. Yeah,
well,
new poster.
Not boxing fights, but
new poster.
It's a dope poster. If you need anything like this, my buddy does it. He owns the UPS store on 168th and Center. Name's Justin Hecox. Yeah. This shit is way cheaper than it looks, and it's fucking amazing. So go check him out if you need anything.
Yep. Use promo code Big Dick Brent. That's how you get it.
That's how Justin will know it's a lie.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I'm having a blast doing this shit. I'm excited for Thursday. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, you don't know what's gonna happen, but like, I'm pretty I'm trying to stay confident because I think that's going to be key for me personally. For the way I fumble it sometimes, I know that the key for me is to be like, oh yeah, I got this.
Yeah,
it's in the bag.
100%.
So I'm excited, but I think we're going to call it there.
Yeah, I mean, we got jokes to work tonight.
Yeah, we got to work some material
get
still.
The Dubliner.
Get the jokes out, get the funny flowing.
Appreciate y'all tuning in. Hopefully the next time you see us all, we'll have the whole Just Relax comedy together, and we'll be,
that's the plan. We're gonna get together, so make sure you don't miss the next one. We're gonna get the whole crew together.
Did you notice I left that word off when I said it?
Yeah, I know.
I tried really hard to not say it.
Yeah, we're gonna get everybody together, try to get a nice terrible angle shot in here, like everybody in here. But hopefully we get something cool going and get somebody. Let's get some fun videos there. I think it's gonna be a long episode.
It's gonna be a lot.
It's gonna be a couple hours.
We're gonna need to do it on like a Friday.
Yeah.
Fucking like it's gonna be a couple hour episode for sure. And you know what else I think we should do for it? We should throw in some cash. Like everybody throw in $10 and then have two things for the night. Like most offensive joke that we say, most offensive thing we say gets half of the pot. And then like another, like the clever, I don't know. We should make a little contest and vote on it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we'll have 5 of us. So
that's a great idea.
Yeah, just something to get the juices flowing a little bit.
Hell yeah. All right, but we're called there.
Thanks,
Make sure
guys.
you guys like, subscribe, do all the things. You know what I mean? Unsubscribe, resubscribe, do that. You know what I mean? And thank you guys for listening. And that's it. Peace.